The story we're going to offer is not for the faint of heart, as sharks have long captured the imagination of people, causing both surprise and horror. Here are 3 true stories of people who had to defend themselves from one of the most terrible predators of nature. This is a striking reminder of the risks that fishermen and divers face on a daily basis. Off the coast of the island of Vanuatu, the second largest island of Fiji, there was a shark attack. Its rocky cliffs and hills covered with lush rainforest are known for their natural beauty and are home to many animals. Sandy beaches, coral reefs, and the dazzling blue of the Pacific Ocean adorn its edges. Mike Tabwa, the father of 7 children from the village of Naikaki, was 44 years old. For more than 10 years, he was engaged in diving and fishing off the coast of the island. He and his friends entered the sea on March 10, 2016, and never surfaced again. They were all diving in search of bichademere, or sea cucumbers. Indigenous Fijian villagers often engage in this type of fishing. Echinoderms are often transported to countries such as China, where they are eaten as a delicacy. In fact, Fiji sells sea cucumbers for hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. He took a deep breath, dived to the bottom of the ocean, and disappeared under the waves. He worked 2 to 4 hours a day, pulling 30-centimeter sea cucumbers from the bottom of the sea and putting them in his mesh bag until he had enough to sell to an intermediary in the market. This time, he and his fishing partners fanned out in the water, and each of them dived down to look for sea cucumbers that were scattered on the flooded substrate. They were fishing near the mouth of the Yanave River, where it flows into the ocean. The influx of fresh water provided food for the local marine flora and fauna. Mayaka attracted unwanted attention when he was filling his mesh bag. The shark was close and hunting. On the fisherman, he trained his senses. Due to the reduction of the sea cucumber population, Fijian fishermen are forced to take greater risks by diving underwater. But Mika and the others were not far from the reef, in relatively shallow water. The predator was closest to Mika. He would be completely unprepared for this. The fisherman would have suffered serious injuries in a matter of seconds due to his lightning, fast movements, precise attack, and strong jaws. He wouldn't have had time to call for help or defend himself. Turbidity of the water. It was almost difficult to see the approaching predator because of the currents that were created where the river and the sea converged. Micah's companion surfaced a few minutes after the attack, when he was killed almost instantly. Having collected a significant collection of sea cucumbers, they headed to the shore to assess their catch and rebuild. They searched the neighborhood for Micah. He was nowhere to be seen. However, looking at the water, they noticed something. Undoubtedly, it was Mayaka, but by a terrible coincidence, his head and left arm were missing and his thighs were severely bitten. His body was floating vertically in the water. His legs were still hanging below its surface. In amazement and panic, the guys who pulled him ashore wrapped his corpse and took him to the hospital in Sava. There are 21 islands in the stunning Fernando de Noronha archipelago, 200 miles off the coast of Brazil. They were an attractive place for visitors, as they were surrounded by golden sand and volcanic rocks. Playa do Soeste in Fernando de Noronha, commonly referred to as Soeste Bay, is a popular beach. It is well known for its quiet, clear waters, which make it a great place for diving and snorkeling to see the rich marine flora and fauna of the region. At the beginning of 2015, TripAdvisor users chose this particular beach as the largest on the whole globe. On December 21, 2015, the situation will change quickly as the popular tourist destination will be gripped by fear. Despite the well-known purity of the sea, 32-year-old accountant Marcio de Castro Palma and his wife were scuba diving at the same beach. On this particular day, the water where his head was submerged in the warm Brazilian sea was quite muddy. Marcio headed for cleaner water. He watched the fish swimming by. He was mesmerized by their bright colors and fast movements as they darted left and right. Marcio collided with the shark while turning to face the other way. He was completely unprepared for this. It quickly swam up to him, and now its toothy smile looked Marcio straight in the face. Marcio was startled by her sudden appearance and started to swim away when she bit his arm. It shook him violently and dropped him to the bottom of the ocean. Marcio screamed underwater as the tragedy played out. He felt the weight of 1,000 years of evolution on his hand. The shark's jerks were so strong that they tore Marcio's arm from his body. He appeared thanks to liberation. He gasped for air and called for help as soon as he surfaced. He was lucky because British swimmer Barney Lancaster Owen had just finished swimming in the same spot 10 minutes earlier. 6-year-old Theodora and 4-year-old Tiago were on vacation with their parents, a 36-year-old Briton who had lived in Brazil for 3 years. After an exciting snorkeling trip, Barney toweled off on the Golden Beach. Peering into the river, he heard the Portuguese calling for help. He suddenly saw the noise caused by Marcio's attack. At first, he believed that the young Brazilian was playing with his wife. Soon, the water began to foam and bubble reddish. The young guy screamed and screamed, struggling to free himself from the jaws of the shark. Barney jumped into the water without thinking about his personal safety. He rushed to the upset Brazilian. Approaching him, he saw the depth of his wounds. He was amazed to see that Marcio's right arm was missing. The shark bit off the lower part of his arm. The muscle was torn and the bone was sticking out. To help the guy get to the beach, Barney grabbed him by the torso. Then he stopped. He asked Marcio's permission to look for his lost hand in case it could be saved. Maybe a shark is swimming underneath them. To save the life of a complete stranger, he had to put himself in danger, but he stubbornly made his way through the waves to the shore. Fortunately, they both successfully made it to land. They were at the extreme end of the beach. Apart from Marcio's wife, who was in shock and could not help, there was no one else in sight. Marcio was rushed to the only hospital in the archipelago after being contacted by the emergency service. The most the surgeons could do was to get stitches. But the next day he was taken to the mainland Hospital della Restaurazione, where he underwent surgery. After the attack, Barney found out that the beach where they were swimming was a recognized shark feeding place.